Hello boxing fans, right now I'm going to talk about David Haye versus Dereck Chisora, and this one is called License to Thrill. Obviously it's a pun on the name that they don't actually have a British license between them. Brilliant. I actually think this is a brilliant fight. You know, this is a fight for the fans. This is what boxing needs, fights for the fans. You know, both sides of the fight here. On one side you've got David Haye, 27 fights, 25 wins, 23 by way of knockout. It's only 2 defeats, one to Wladimir Klitschko and the other to Carl Thompson, which was many moons ago at cruiserweight. On the other side of the ring is Dereck Chisora, aka the Mental Man. He has 18 fights, 15 wins to 2 defeats and 1 Nordic robbery. His losses include Tyson Fury, which he was very unfit to. I think he won by 3 rounds in that fight. And Vitaly Klitschko, who he actually gave Klitschko a lot of nightmares himself. He did himself a lot of justice. It's a shame that the actual, the fight after the fight actually happened, because it really overshadowed how bad Vitaly Klitschko looked in that fight. And I know some sarky knobhead's going to say now how good Vitaly was, considering he was injured. Yet it's never been. People always say they get injured in fights. Deal with it or pull out. He looked shit. He did. Stylistically in this fight, we've got Haye, who is a small heavyweight. He's an ambush fighter. He hits you with the kitchen sink when you make a mistake and when you don't expect it. Don't fall into his traps is the only advice I can give you. Chisora is a front foot pressure fighter. He grinds you down and eventually his pressure will take you to a place that you do not want to be. Okay, this now is just a warning before I go into the advantages for each fighter. Now, I do understand that it is in good form and seen as the in thing to do to bash David Haye over the internet, so I will allow you to post what you like in the comments section. However, if you're disrespectful to me personally or my pick, and I am right and you are wrong, I will troll your page and gloat to fuck afterwards. So that is just a warning. Take it as it is, and I'm not dissing you personally unless you're dissing me. So straight away I'm going into the advantages now. The first one we're looking at is power. Who has the power? We know it is David Haye. Haye literally tries to kill you with every shot he throws. He is pound for pound, in weight, one of the biggest punchers in the world. He hits on the front foot and on the back foot. When we compare that to Chisora, he is not a one-punch hitter. He relies on his relentless pressure and the fact that hopefully the tiredness will get to his opponent to take his opponents out. A good example is watch Sam Sexton. The second one we can look at is speed. Who has the speed? We also know David Haye has the speed, as he is a former cruiserweight. He's a natural 16 stone guy who had to boil himself down. He's very unlucky, I think, because the heavyweights today are all about 18 stone, 17.5 stone. He just can't compete with these bigger guys. It's true. I wouldn't ask anyone else to compete with a guy twice their size. Back in the day, he would have probably had a better chance against some of the smaller heavyweights. Not that I'll ever see him as one of the best heavyweights ever. I just don't think he is. But I still think he's got a speed. His smaller size gives him a speed advantage. Plus, Chisora, he isn't that quick. He's just not. The next one we're looking at is heart. Who has the better heart? And I edge Chisora in this one. The guy never gives up. He really just keeps coming and coming and coming. He always walks forward. He never takes a step backwards. Just look at every one of his fights. Stamina, next, I also edge to Chisora. Haye, he's very muscular. He's almost too muscular. You see, to fight 12 rounds, you can't be that big. He's got to fight in bursts. He's had to change his game after the Thompson fight to fight in bursts. Chisora, he's got a very good attribute that makes him one of the scariest guys in the world. And that is, he hits a brick wall of tiredness and then he just keeps coming. He just keeps coming forward as if it doesn't affect him, right? And when most people slow down, he keeps powering through. He keeps the pace high and the tempo high, and that grinds you down. So that's a big thing he can bring into this fight. Next we're looking at chin, and we know that Dereck Chisora edges this. Derek's taken punches from Fury, Vitaly, Helnas, and he's came through them all. I mean, he might have been wobbled once or twice by all of these guys, but he still came through it. And the only thing is, will his chin fail here? Sometimes if you take too much damage, eventually your chin will fail. Or he may just be a total iron-chinned god for the rest of his boxing career, just like Carl Froch. But even though, you got to take this into account, even Carl Froch has been put down once, so it's not impossible that Haye puts him down. Also, when you contrast to Haye, he has been put down before, but he's always got back up. That's what I mean, he got dropped by Carl Thompson, but he got back up. They threw in the towel because he was exhausted in that fight. People don't like to admit that, but it's the truth, I'm not lying. Also, he didn't get hurt by Klitschko when they fought. I mean, Klitschko had losses where he was dead on his feet, I think, through fatigue. It's pretty much similar, but people don't talk about that. It's pretty similar. Klitschko versus Haye, I don't think Klitschko hurt Haye at all. I don't think he actually landed that many punches because of how elusive Haye was, and the fact that their styles just didn't mix. They were never going to mix because they were both too defensive. It was never going to be a good fight for the fans. I don't know why people pushed for it so much. They actually just wanted to see Haye get hurt, but it was just not going to happen. He did get knocked down by Mormek, but then he knocked Mormek clean out later on. So, I don't know. And then Mormek got knocked out by Wladimir, so I don't know. I'm not sure. People say he's got a weak chin. I don't see it. Monty Barrett, they say he hurt him, but Haye was sitting on his butt at the time. And then Monty Barrett sucker punched him on the floor. I think he got a point deduction or 2 points for that. Could have got DQ'd. If he had a weak chin, it would have been like Andre Dirrell versus Arthur Abraham. Dirrell lying there with his head in pretty much spasm because he just got uppercutted. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think Haye's weak chin, but I think Chisora's got a better chin. Movement. Well, Haye's definitely got the advantage here. He can move. He is multi-dimensional, and he's just very good movement. He slips punches very well through his movement. He relies on that in his defence sometimes. However, Chisora does cut down the ring quite quickly. He can't get close. Lastly, defence. I've got to edge Haye here. Chisora's defence is bobbing and weaving, and that's good if you're going to be trying to land the jab. But Haye doesn't really land the jab that much. If all else fails, he relies on his chin, and I don't like people who rely on their chin 100%. Haye is more agile. He can bob and weave as well, but he slips the shots on the ropes. He's very good. He tires his opponent out, and then he turns defense into offense by firing back. And if you ask John Ruiz, Haye can hit on the front foot and he can hit on the back foot, which is very dangerous when you think that Chisora will be wide open when he's trying to attack, and that could be when David Haye strikes. Actually, sorry, this is finally, boxing ability. I think Haye's got the advantage here. He pretty much had to box at heavyweight because he's too small to stand toe-to-toe and slug it out. He just is. Okay, now is where I go on to how I see the fight going, and usually I only have one way I see the fight going, but this time there's so many different variables that this could go many different ways. And the first way I can see this fight going is basically Haye takes a lead on the points but tires. Chisora catches up to him and stops him through better pressure and an actual inside game. The second way I see this fight going is Haye does the same thing he did to John Ruiz and lands concussive shots on the front foot and back foot, dropping his man a few times to get a TKO finish, focusing on boxing, movement and explosiveness that his opponent cannot compete with. The third is both men stand toe to toe in the ring, duke it out like a barroom brawl, and one lands a concussive lucky shot and knocks the other guy's spark out. The last way is Haye fights a back foot fight, lands minimal shots, it's an ugly fight and it goes to the scorecards. Well, as I know boxing and I can see a few things that's going to happen here. The first is Haye is not going to duke it out in the middle of the ring. So if you think Haye and Chisora are going to stand in the middle of the ring and fight it out like a barroom brawl, something like Povetkin and Hook, it's not going to happen, right? Haye has never done that. He's not going to start doing it now. Okay, scenario 3 is out of the window. The styles mix well, so scenario 4 is also unlikely. It should be an exciting fight for the fans. Haye, Wladimir, like I've always said, was going to be a bad fight. They're just both too defensive, right? Chisora's best way to win is to hope that his pressure gets to Haye, and that he ties, resulting in a toe-to-toe battle, which later on in the final round, Chisora can land his best shots. Haye's best chance of winning is to land explosive, concussive shots and, well, basically steal the rounds and also maybe knock Chisora out. So the best way it's going to happen is either number 1 or number 2. And I'm sorry, I literally think it's going to be 2. I think David Haye is going to win this one, because Haye always finds a way to stink off the place, and I expect Haye to fight the same way he did against John Ruiz, on the back foot, but have a very explosive performance, throwing big hurtful shots, and I think he's going to stop Chisora. There's a very good possibility he could go the cards, but if Chisora takes too many close, clean shots, he can't win on the scorecards. I mean, a guy who's come forward, who just keeps coming forward, he doesn't always win on the scorecards, especially when he's not supposed to, like that. I see Haye winning this fight, probably by knockout, but I wouldn't be totally surprised if Chisora wins it. I mean, if I bet on this fight, I'm going to put Haye KO, and I might straddle that with Chisora just by any means of victory. Tell me what you think about this fight, and tell me who you're going with.